Once you kind of know why you're doing this, then you can make the next step. And really, really early on, you need to start thinking about where you want to publish. What's the right journal for you? Now, you're at this stage and you kind of think, okay, well, I know why I want to publish. And you know all these things are going to benefit you. But how does that determine where you're going to publish? It doesn't really answer that question, does it? You know why, but you don't know where. What you need to do, and this is what I would heartily recommend you do, is you need to do research about your research. Everybody in this room is in the top 1% in the world at doing research. You've kind of got that down. You wouldn't be doing a PhD otherwise. But what you're doing research on is your subject area, whatever that is. You need to use those skills and utilise them and leverage them to understand the whole publishing game. How do I publish in the right place? Where do I publish? And for that, you need to do a lot of research because there's a huge amount of data and information out there. So the factors to consider are, who's the readership? Who's going to read what you publish in that journal? Like we said before, is it global? Is it in a particular area? You need to think about where your future lies. Do you want to, for example, follow a career in the UK? Do you want to follow a career back home if you come from abroad? Do you want to follow a career in North America, or China, or Japan, or South Africa? Wherever it is, you need to think about your research now and who's going to read it in the future. Is it relevant to that readership? You also need to think about things like, well, how likely is that article going to be accepted? And we're going to show you some resources that you can use to kind of figure that out. There's lots of different factors. Perhaps more importantly, what type of research are you doing? What is the type of paper you're going to do? Is it qualitative? Is it quantitative? Is it a case study? Is it a review paper? Is it a theoretical paper? Empirical paper? There's lots of different research papers out there, and there are lots of different journals that will accept some or all of those. So you need to do your research in terms of the type of research you're doing and who is going to accept that kind of paper. So what I would summarise is that there are two key questions following the why am I publishing question. The first thing is that you've got to answer the political question. So, i.e., it could be national versus international. If you're publishing in the UK and you want your future to be in the UK, the big thing you have to consider, as you'll be aware, is the Research Excellence Framework, REF. That is the number one factor when you're thinking about this political decision. And just by political, I just mean where are you going to be? Where are you going to be in 5 years or 10 years? Once you publish, not only is your work global, it's also permanent. Nothing's going to change, it's always going to be on your CV. So whether you're going to stay in the UK and therefore you're thinking about REF in 2021, or whether you're going to North America and thinking about how you're going to get tenure, North American University, or wherever else you're going to go, you need to think about that political decision. The second question is the strategic question. And this is one of the most common questions that publishers will be asked. We'll get asked about, what strategy shall I employ? Is it better to publish 5 articles in so-called low-ranked journals, where the perception is it's easier to get published, and therefore gain the experience of being published and get your name out there? Or should you go for the number 1 top-ranked journal? Now, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm just merely raising this. This is a question that you need to ask. Whether you like it or not, you're in a political and a strategic situation. And it will only enhance your chances if you can answer the political question as well as the strategic question. Where is your future going to be, and how can you choose a journal that's going to support that? What is your strategy in terms of getting published? The final thing there as well is, which is kind of a dimension that covers all of this, is around open access. If you've got funding that requires you to publish in an open access environment, i.e. you've got an open access mandate, then you need to make sure that you can publish an article as open access. If you're in the UK, that's every journal that's based in the UK will necessarily offer you an open access option. but you do have to make sure that you have that option available when you start to think about it. So these are the questions you need to ask right at the start. So I mentioned there were resources to help you, and basically we're talking about rankings here. And by far and away the biggest ranking that you'll come into contact with is the impact factor. Do people know what I'm talking about when I say the impact factor? Does everybody not know what the impact factor is? No? Okay, that's fine. So you will probably, I know you do have access in the library to a resource called Web of Science or Web of Knowledge. So Web of Science is sometimes called ISI. Web of Science is a massive database. It has about 13,000 journals on the database. And on the database, they count the numbers of citations that the journals cite from each other. So just to give you an example, in the area of accounting, there's probably about 25 accounting journals. Okay? And what the Web of Science does is that every year they look at a 2-year period where those 24 journals have published, and then they look at the following year to see how many times those 24 journals have been cited in those journals, or how often they cite each other. They then divide one by the other, and then you get the impact factor. So for the sake of argument, if a journal publishes 100 articles in 2 years, and in the third year, that journal gets cited 100 times in all of the journals that are also on Web of Science, they'll divide 100 by 100 and they'll get 1, and the impact factor will be 1. Now, in social science, an impact factor of 1 is pretty good. In scientific areas, it's pretty low. More commonly, you'd expect impact factors to be 3, 5, 10. These impact factors are released once a year. The next impact factor, which will be for 2016, the last full year, will actually be released in quite soon, probably mid-June. The highest impact factor last year was something like 130 for a cancer journal. So there's kind of a big scope. This is where you need to research your research. If you go and publish in an education journal and expect to have an impact factor of 130, that's not going to happen. You'll see some with single digits, there'll be 3, 4, 5 score impact factors. A lot of them will actually be below 1. But remember, the Web of Science, even though it's 13,000 journals, this is the creme de la creme. This is, the most kind of cohesive unit of high quality journals. However, there is a recent rival to the impact factor, which is called Site Score. People heard of Scopus? Yeah? There's a like Web of Science, Scopus helps you do your research. Scopus is a lot bigger than Web of Science, it's about double the size in terms of the numbers of journals. And at the end of last year, they released a site score. Now, the calculation of a site score is very similar to the impact factor. They look at the journals that are on Scopus, they look at publications over a 3-year period, not 2 years, and they look at documents that are published rather than articles. Some journals publish a lot of what are called non-article content, so content that may be news stories, or briefings, or conference reports, or stuff like that. It's not an article. So Scopus looks at all the documents published in the journal, and then they do the same calculation, divide one by the other, which will provide a site score. And the site scores are broadly similar to the impact factors in their scale. If anything, they don't go quite as high as the impact factor. So everyone at Manchester's got access to the Web of Science and to Scopus, therefore you've got access to the impact factor and site score. Now, your supervisors, the kind of faculty members, the deans of the faculties, they all no doubt encourage you to get published in the best journals. And the impact factor and the site score, that's one way of assessing which are the best journals. Broadly speaking, not necessarily, but broadly speaking, those journals with the higher impact factors and higher site scores will be the better journals. But it's not always the case. There are other ways you can judge not just quality but also relevance to you. You may want to look at things like Google Scholar, which I just showed you there, the Google Scholar page. Google Scholar does the same kind of thing. It looks at citations, but it looks at citations to everything. There's no limit. So it's potentially vast. And as you'll know by doing Google searches, the number of responses that you get from a Google search is huge. And that's kind of what Google Scholar does. It looks at citations to everything. But it's free to use, as is SiteScore. So the best thing is to kind of play around with it. Look up your supervisor, see how they rate on Google Scholar, how they rate on SiteScore, that kind of thing. But the other information as well is around usage. A lot of publishers will share usage of articles, so how many times it's been downloaded. So if an article was published 5 years ago, it's been downloaded once, whether it's been cited or not, that doesn't really tell you it's very, very popular. However, if it's been downloaded 10,000 times by academics around the world, then that shows that, well, there's actually been a lot of interest in this. And therefore, it may be useful. So the journal it's published in, or the type of research that's been published, you may learn a lot from. And also, kind of peer perception. You can have really good conversations with your supervisor, with other faculty members about what they think about journals. Academics tend to have quite strong views about journals, whether they like them or not, whether they think they're good or bad, right or wrong, and that's a really good conversation to get into. So, trying to look at the quality aspects of the journal is really important. Yes, question?
In a similar way where you can assess how many times it's been cited, you also find out how many times it's been downloaded.
And this is where you have to use your research skills. There are several areas, Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, where you can find different levels of citation because the data, the information, the sources are different. But you'll also go to usually the publishers' websites to try and find out the usage. So unfortunately, it's in different places. So that's where you've got to try and do some digging to kind of make that decision for yourself. The H-index is whereby you have a set of citation data, and it can be for an individual, it can be for a journal, it can even be for an institution. So actually, just excuse me, best way to describe it. So on the Google Scholar pages, then you can, academics, or once you've been published, or if you already are published, then you can go on there. Basically, it will try and find your articles, and then you can click, yes, that's mine, no, it's not mine. And then it will start to track them. And then you get nice little emails every time somebody cites you. And what it works out for you is what your H-index is. So my H-index is 2, which is woefully bad for an academic. I'm not an academic, I'm not bothered. And what that means is that basically I have published at least 2 articles for which I have at least 2 citations. Okay? Now, I've got a slightly weird kind of data set because I've got only 3 articles published, really, that have got any citations, and 2 of them have got a few, but then I haven't got any others. What you would normally find is a kind of traditional curve where you would get academics who've got the odd article with no citations, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 50, and then way above this, 400, 500, 1,000, 10, 5,000, etc. The H-index was, the guy who thought of it was a guy called Hirsch, who was a physicist, and he wanted to kind of understand, for example, somebody like Einstein, what was the impact of Einstein as an academic. Now, he didn't publish very much in his time, but he had phenomenal amounts of citations after his kind of career ended. So it's a way of looking back to say, okay, what was the academic impact of their research and of their publications? So that's how you work it out. So basically, any citation data set, you can work it out, and therefore you can work it out for a journal, you can work it out for a university, and you can also, something that, from memory, you can also look at it in terms of, there's something called the H5 index, which looks at the number of citations in the last 5 years. So you can work out the kind of current level, if you like. So you can slice and dice it however you want. There's a huge amount of literature on what's called bibliometrics. which is to do with basically analysing the study of citations. It's actually it's actually a very fast-growing area of science, and there are journals out there called, for example, Scientometrics, which go into this in quite a lot of detail.